I've been promoted into a director level job that I was not seeking, that is extremely stressful. I have had to pull my son out of public school because of a disagreement with the district and start homeschooling my kids. I decided to do that before the promotion. I have gone through the breakup of an engagement to someone that I really, really cared about. And currently my dad is in hospice care, given only a few hours to a few days to live. But I feel eerily calm. Like, I'm definitely sad. There's definitely been tears every single day, especially about my dad. But I feel okay. Like, I don't feel anything in my body. And that was actually making me nervous because sometimes we can underestimate the toll that stress is taking. And I wear this Aura ring, and it tracks my sleep patterns, and it also tracks my stress levels. And so I can look back for up to a year to see how I've been doing with managing stress. And I was like, maybe I'm overlooking the stress. Like, maybe I'm not registering it and it's going to take its toll on my body. But I checked my Aura ring, and my stress levels have been steady, like very low, despite everything that's been going on top of all the uncertainty across the world, in my industry, in politics. I'm actually okay. And I thought about it, and there are some very specific things that I started implementing when I took on the new job that I think have kept me even keeled despite my circumstances. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about 5 things that I've been doing that have been keeping me cool under pressure without, me stuffing my emotions and not addressing them. So the first thing that I do is prioritize movement. I have a little sticky here if you see me looking down. Sometimes those emotions can get trapped. So when I feel the need to cry, I let those tears out. There's been studies done to show that those tears contain chemicals that need to be released from the body. But on top of that, I've never interrupted my workout schedule. I lift, and I lift heavy. I've been walking pretty much every single day. And I've been prioritizing eating well enough so that I have the energy to do those things. But I believe that movement helps move the energy out of my body. And it also helps manage my ADHD, which can get worse during times of stress. The second thing I've been doing is keeping my rituals. So it can be tempting when things get overwhelming to start saying, well, maybe I don't need to do this, or I can skip this day and prioritize this other thing, especially when it comes to my dad. Like, there was a time when he was at home and we were coordinating his care there, and it was extremely busy. And I was tempted to let go of my rituals, like meditation and exercise and journaling and just reflecting and being present with myself. But instead, I reduced my activity in other areas. Like, I let my job know, hey, I can't be here, like I normally am. This is what's going on. And I was devoted to my rituals. I even, as much as I wanted to be by my dad's side all the time, I even said to myself, before I go and support my father, I've got to fill my own cup. So I did not allow myself to let go of my rituals. The third thing that I did, and that I'm doing a lot more of since practicing mindfulness, is that I stayed present with myself. And what I mean by that is, as all these things are happening, I'm constantly, like, moment by moment, checking in with myself, asking myself, how do you feel? What are you thinking right now? Are those thoughts serving you in the situation? Is there a different way you could look at this? How's your heart rate? How's your breathing? Are you breathing deep enough? So constantly checking in on myself and staying present with my body, instead of letting all these things take my mind and my sense of self away. Sometimes we can dissociate because things get really heavy. But I intentionally choose not to do that. I intentionally check in on my emotions, on my physical body, and on my thought processes all the time. The fourth thing that I do is to remember community. So I have a really bad habit of wanting to isolate because I'm most comfortable in my own space, especially as a neurodivergent person. And some isolation is good to do what I just talked about, which is staying present. But I started to forget that I had community. I started to feel unsupported. And I went to an event called Abolish Your Inner Saboteur that was hosted by my executive coach. And really, during that event, meeting all those people that made space for me and for each other, and that I was allowed to make space for, helped me to remember that the belief that I don't have support and that I don't have community is not real. And I was able to literally write down all the people who have supported me up to this point, all the people who are currently supporting me. My dad was a huge part of my support system, so I think, I was kind of triggered by the fact that he was no longer able to care for himself or anyone else, and I just felt like, I'm 43 years old, but I'm a daddy's girl. And so I just had created this idea that I didn't have any support, but I have so much support. And remembering that, relying on that, making an effort even when I don't feel like it, to just be with friends, and even supporting other people in the challenges that they're facing has been super helpful. So remembering that I'm not alone, remembering that I'm not the first and only person to deal with these things, and that there are other people who have made it through to the other side, has been super important. And the fifth thing, which is fundamental, it's fundamentally changed who I am and how I react to everything, is that I remembered my mantra: everything is happening for me. So even when things don't look the way that I think that they should, and I feel this kind of dread that things aren't happening properly, I remember that sometimes I can't see the outcome. Sometimes I can't see how a thing contributes to the overall good. And I repeat that mantra to myself, that everything is happening for me. And when I repeat that mantra, my reticular activating system, my consciousness, tends to focus on the good that comes out of every situation. So in my stressful job, in the challenge of homeschooling, in my breakup, in my dad's, decline in health, I've been able to find all these silver linings. I've been able to see how those things are contributing to the overall good, even though there's challenges, even though there's pain. For example, my dad has said for years that he's very happy with his accomplishments, that he's very satisfied with his life, and that he is okay with moving on to the other side. So as painful as it is for me to watch his health decline, I'm comforted by knowing that he's happy with his life, that he doesn't have regrets. And I also had a near-death experience, and so I know that things are actually better on the other side. And it sounds morbid when I say that, but it's absolutely true. Like, he's going to find absolute rest. He's going to understand things that he was never able to understand on this side of life. So being able to shift my perspective in that way and realize that all things, depending on what we choose to focus on, how we choose to grow, contribute to the overall good, has helped me survive all of this. And not only survive, but continue to thrive, like continue to evolve and become better in the midst of all these really heavy things. And it gets to the place where I'm even afraid to tell people that I'm okay. Sometimes if people are checking on me and they know what's going on, I feel like I have to pretend, not pretend, but I have to acknowledge the heaviness. Otherwise they think I'm being trite, or they may think that I'm engaging in toxic positivity. But honestly, I let the sadness flow through me. I let the fear flow through me. And I'm able to look at things from all angles. I'm able to acknowledge my pain and my heartbreak. And I'm also able to acknowledge that this too shall pass, and that I can grow from it. Other people can grow from things. The way I'm showing up in the midst of all this can be a testimony for someone else. So I'm just feeling all the things, and in the midst of letting that flow through me, in the midst of checking in on myself, remembering myself, letting that energy move through my body, I'm at peace in the midst of what can look like chaos. So I just wanted to share those things with you guys.